Imagine this: you start your evening with him the same way you always do. The text that brought you together was short and sweet. Come over, maybe with a wink, maybe without even a question mark. Within minutes of meeting, his hands are on you, his eyes scanning every inch like a checklist he's eager to complete. There's no warm conversation about how your day went, no curiosity about what's been on your mind, no genuine attempt to slow down and enjoy your company. The moment you're near, the energy shifts straight to one thing. At first, it might feel flattering. It's easy to mistake urgency for passion, to think that being desired this strongly is a sign of deep connection. But when every interaction races to the physical, it's a quiet warning that what he truly values is access to your body, not the depth of your heart. You notice it in the little patterns, the texts that arrive late at night, rarely in the morning when you're full of ideas and plans. The way he shortens small talk into a doorway for something more heated. He may compliment you, but it's always about the way your clothes fit or the way your skin feels, never about the way you think, the way you create, or the way you handle challenges. If you try to share a story about your day or a worry you've been carrying, he listens just long enough to nod and then slides the conversation back to the kind of touch he wants. This isn't passion mixed with curiosity. This is hunger without substance. People who genuinely care will build a rhythm with you that makes room for many layers. Laughing at a silly video, wandering through a market, holding a conversation that lasts past midnight without touching at all. Someone who only wants the physical will skip those layers because they don't feed the goal. They keep the texts short, the calls brief, and the plans vague. They may say things like, "I just want to be close to you," or "I can't stop thinking about you," but their version of closeness starts and ends with skin. If you try to slow things down, suggest a daytime coffee instead of a late night visit, you might notice their interest cools. That drop in enthusiasm is telling. This pattern isn't about you lacking something. It's about what they are choosing not to see. Real desire isn't just about what someone's body can give, it's about the person inside that body. When a man is serious about you, he wants to know how your mind works, what you dream about, what makes you laugh until you cry. He'll look for ways to connect outside the bedroom because he knows that's where real intimacy grows. When that isn't happening, when the physical rush is the only spark he feeds, you're left with a one-dimensional connection that can never sustain the weight of real love. It takes courage to name it. It means asking yourself hard questions. Do our conversations feel rushed so we can get to the next kiss? Do I feel more like an object than a partner? Do I leave feeling empty even after we've spent hours together? Your answers will guide you. The truth is, you deserve someone who sees your worth beyond the shape of your body. Someone who understands that passion without respect is just appetite. Recognizing this early protects your heart and opens the door to a relationship where both your mind and your soul are cherished, not just your skin. When you start noticing that the conversations between you and the person you're dating never seem to go beyond the surface, it's easy to brush it off at first. Maybe he's just tired, you tell yourself, or maybe he's not a big talker. But over time, a pattern forms that's hard to ignore. He'll ask how your day was, but before you can share anything real, he's already moved on to a new topic or steered the moment back towards something playful and light. He'll compliment your outfit or your smile, but he never pauses long enough to ask about the project you've been working on or the challenge you've been wrestling with all week. It begins to feel like you're offering him pieces of who you are, and he's only taking the ones that sparkle on the outside. The absence of real curiosity is not a small detail. Interest in someone's inner world is what builds the foundation of a healthy relationship. When a person cares about you, they naturally want to explore your thoughts, your history, your hopes. They lean in when you talk. They remember what you said yesterday, and they ask follow-up questions because knowing you matters to them. If that drive is missing, if the focus remains locked on how you rather than who you are, it's a quiet signal that the bond isn't emotional. It's transactional. Think about the last few conversations you've had with him. Did he ask what book you're reading or how you feel about the changes happening at work? Did he remember the name of your best friend or the little details you shared about your family? Or does every exchange hover around the same shallow comments about how beautiful you are or how much he wants to see you again, preferably in private? Those small differences reveal whether he values your mind and your experiences or just the immediate pleasure of your presence. Sometimes you might even try to share something deeper, a dream you have, a fear that's been sitting heavy on your heart, and watch as his attention drifts. Maybe he checks his phone. Maybe he gives a quick nod and slides a hand across your arm, turning the moment physical instead of emotional. At first, you might laugh it off, thinking he's just not great at serious talk. But if it keeps happening, it's not about skill, it's about intention. Someone who wants a real connection doesn't need to be a poet to listen with care. The danger in staying in that dynamic is that you begin to feel unseen. You might start to doubt the value of what you have to say, or you might stop offering pieces of yourself altogether. That's the quiet cost of being with someone who doesn't reach for the real you. It's not simply that the conversations are dull. It's that your identity, your passions, your inner life are being overlooked, and that neglect can slowly erode your self-worth. A partner who truly cares will notice the small things that make you unique. He'll remember the stories you tell because they matter to him, not because they're convenient for later. He'll create moments where you can talk for hours about everything from your favorite childhood memory to the things you're still figuring out. That kind of attention doesn't just happen. It comes from genuine respect and affection. If instead you're with someone who never seems interested in those details, it's a sign that his focus is on what he can see and touch, not on the deeper connection that builds love. You deserve more than admiration for how you look. You deserve to be known, to be heard, to have someone who finds the person you are far more captivating than any image you present. Recognizing the difference between surface attraction and true interest is how you protect your heart and make space for a relationship where every layer of you is valued. You can feel it when someone is hesitant to commit, even if they never say the words out loud. There's a certain vagueness that settles over the relationship, like a fog that keeps you guessing where you stand. He enjoys the time you spend together, but the moment the conversation drifts toward the future, he finds a way to change the subject or make a joke. Maybe you've tried to talk about where this is heading, whether you're exclusive, what you both want long term, and he responds with charm but no substance. He might say things like, "Let's just enjoy what we have," or "Why complicate something that's already good?" And while those lines sound easygoing, they're really a shield. They keep you from expecting anything more than the moment you're in, which is exactly what he wants. You start to notice other signs. He hasn't introduced you to his close friends or family, or if he has, it's always a casual, last-minute thing with no sense of importance. He doesn't invite you to events that matter to him, and he doesn't ask you to include him in the milestones of your life either. It's not that he's shy, it's that real inclusion would mean acknowledging that you're a significant part of his world. Avoiding those steps allows him to enjoy the benefits of closeness without the responsibilities of a relationship. It keeps the connection comfortable for him while leaving you uncertain. That uncertainty can be exhausting. You start questioning yourself. Am I asking for too much? Should I just give it more time? But deep down, you can feel the imbalance. Commitment isn't about grand gestures or expensive gifts. It's about consistency and intention. Someone who is serious about you shows it in practical ways. Planning ahead, keeping promises, being clear about how he feels. When those things are missing, it's not because he's confused or moving at a different pace. It's because he isn't looking for the same depth you are. Sometimes he might sprinkle in just enough affection to keep you hoping. A sweet text after a weekend together, a casual miss you that warms you for a moment. But notice how those moments rarely lead to anything concrete. They're like sparks without a fire. He wants the closeness on his terms, the late night visits, the physical intimacy, the companionship when it suits him. But when you reach for something steadier, a plan for next month, a simple acknowledgement that you're building something together, he steps back. This dance can continue for weeks or months if you let it, and the danger is that it starts to feel normal. You may tell yourself that modern dating is complicated, that everyone moves slowly. That commitment takes time. And while patience is part of any healthy relationship, there's a difference between moving thoughtfully and avoiding clarity. When someone truly wants to build with you, you don't have to convince them to be present. They show up without you begging for it. Pay attention to how you feel after each interaction. Do you leave with a sense of security or with more questions than answers? Do you feel chosen, or do you feel like an option he keeps on the side while he explores other possibilities? Your feelings are the clearest indicator. A relationship that nourishes you will bring a sense of calm even when life is busy. A relationship that's only about convenience will leave you unsettled no matter how many fun nights you share. Choosing to see these signs is not about being demanding, it's about honoring your own worth. You deserve someone who doesn't flinch at the idea of a future, someone who welcomes you into every part of his life, someone whose actions match his words. When that kind of commitment is missing, it's not because you aren't enough. It's because he's not ready or willing to give more. Recognizing that truth is the first step toward finding a love that isn't afraid to stay. Think about the rhythm of your time together. When someone is genuinely invested in a relationship, they naturally want to share a variety of experiences. Grabbing coffee in the morning, walking through a park, joining friends for a casual dinner, exploring new places where you both create memories. But when almost every plan seems to unfold behind closed doors, a pattern begins to reveal itself. He might suggest coming over to just chill, or invite you to his apartment for a late night movie again and again. At first, it can feel cozy and intimate, like a private world just for the two of you. But over time, you notice that privacy is the only world he wants. There are no spontaneous dates in daylight, no invitations to join him at events with people he cares about, no effort to mix his life with yours beyond the bedroom walls. This habit of keeping things hidden isn't just about personality or shyness. Someone who truly wants to know you will find comfort in public moments too, hand in hand at a farmer's market, laughing in a crowded cafe, attending a friend's birthday together. Those simple outings are opportunities to build trust and show that you matter. When those moments never happen, it signals something deeper than a love of quiet nights. It suggests that the relationship works for him only when it's convenient and out of sight. You might catch yourself making excuses for it. Maybe he's introverted, you think, or maybe he's busy with work. But real commitment doesn't mean grand gestures every weekend. It means weaving you into daily life in small, consistent ways. If he avoids even the simplest public plan, like grabbing lunch in the middle of the day or meeting a couple of friends, ask yourself why. The truth often lies in what's missing. Someone who only wants the physical closeness will protect that arrangement by keeping your connection separate from the rest of his world. It allows him to maintain freedom and avoid any sense of accountability. Notice how he reacts when you suggest something outside the usual pattern. Maybe you propose seeing a movie in a theater or attending a local event. Does he hesitate, offer vague excuses, or steer you back toward a night at his place instead? That subtle redirection is revealing. He may say he just prefers staying in, but if the preference always benefits the same narrow dynamic, it's less about comfort and more about control. Keeping you in a private bubble means the relationship stays defined by the physical, not by shared experiences or community. Over time, this limited way of connecting can leave you feeling invisible in the rest of his life. You might start to wonder why you've never met his close friends, or why he hasn't shown curiosity about yours. Relationships that thrive are built on a blend of intimacy and openness, where private moments are balanced by public ones that affirm the bond. Without that balance, the connection can start to feel like a secret, even if no one has asked you to keep it one. It's important to remember that being kept out of the public side of someone's life isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of his intentions. A partner who truly values you will want to be seen with you, not because appearances matter, but because sharing space with you in the wider world is natural when feelings are real. If he keeps you tucked away, it's a sign that he wants the comfort of your presence without the responsibilities that come with a deeper relationship. Pay attention to how you feel when plans are always private. Do you feel cherished or hidden? Do you sense that your connection grows richer with each meeting, or does it stay locked in the same room, unchanged and contained? Your answers will tell you more than his words ever could. You deserve a relationship that exists in the sunlight as much as in the quiet of night. One where your presence is welcomed in every part of his life, not just the parts he wants to keep in the dark. You begin to notice it in the smallest, quietest moments. When you're alone together, he can be intensely affectionate, hands tracing every line of your skin, kisses that feel urgent, whispers that make you melt. But as soon as you step outside, the warmth cools. Walking down the street, his hand stays in his own pocket instead of finding yours. At a cafe, he sits just far enough away that there's no chance of a casual touch. The shift is subtle but undeniable. The tenderness that fills a private room seems to vanish the moment the world can see. What once felt like passion starts to feel like a performance that only happens when it leads to the physical. It's not about needing constant public displays of affection. Love doesn't have to be loud to be real. But there's a difference between someone who is naturally reserved and someone who withholds even the smallest gestures of care when others are around. When affection exists only behind closed doors, it raises a question about what that affection really means. Is it love that wants to share life with you? Or desire that burns only in secret? Someone who is proud to be with you shows it not with grand statements, but with simple, consistent presence. A hand on the small of your back, a look that lingers across a crowded room, a smile that says you matter whether you're alone or in a crowd. Think back to the last time you reached for him in a public space. Maybe you brushed his arm or leaned in for a quick hug. Did he stiffen or pull away? Did he glance around as if to make sure no one noticed? Those moments can sting, even if you tell yourself not to overthink them. Over time, they add up, leaving you with a quiet ache, a sense that the closeness you share is something he wants to hide. If his affection fades whenever there's an audience, it's worth asking why. People who truly care aren't worried about being seen treating you with kindness. This pattern can also show up in the way he communicates when you're apart. In private texts, he may send passionate words late at night, but in the daylight his messages become short and casual, as if the intensity of the evening never existed. He might speak to you like a lover when the door is closed, and like a distant acquaintance when you're out with friends. That split creates confusion because it's hard to trust feelings that change depending on who might be watching. It's easy to explain away at first. Maybe he's shy. Maybe he doesn't like public attention. But when someone truly wants a deep connection, they find ways to show affection that fit their personality without erasing you from the world. Even the most private person will offer steady signs of care, holding your gaze, remembering to include you in conversation, making you feel wanted in spaces beyond the bedroom. If those signs are missing, it's less about temperament and more about intention. Over time, This lack of everyday warmth can chip away at your confidence. You might start to wonder if you're imagining things or if you're asking for too much. But affection isn't a luxury in a relationship. It's a natural expression of respect and closeness. You deserve to feel valued in every setting, not just in moments that satisfy someone else's desire. Real love doesn't need to hide. It shows itself in simple gestures that say, "I see you and I'm proud to stand next to you." When the kisses stop at the door and the tenderness fades in the daylight, it's a sign that what he offers isn't a full partnership. It's a private arrangement. Recognizing that truth allows you to decide whether you want to keep living in the shadows or step toward a love that exists just as fully in public as it does in private. There's a quiet but unmistakable shift you can feel when someone treats your boundaries as obstacles instead of guideposts. Maybe it starts small. You tell him you're not comfortable moving so quickly, and he laughs it off, teasing that you're being dramatic. The next time, you explain that you'd rather wait before spending the night, and he pouts or makes a joke about how much he'll miss you. On the surface, it might seem playful, but underneath it's a pattern. Every limit you set becomes something for him to push against rather than honor. Respect doesn't argue with a no. Respect listens, accepts, and adjusts. Anything less is a sign that he's more focused on his own wants than on the trust you need to feel safe. You might notice that when you express a clear boundary, he doesn't get angry outright. Instead, he tries to negotiate. He'll say things like, "Come on, we're adults," or "I just want to be closer to you," as if your comfort is a puzzle he can solve with the right words. At first, it might sound like affection, a plea to deepen the connection. But real affection never requires you to sacrifice your sense of security. When someone tries to talk you out of your own limits, it's not romance, it's pressure wrapped in charm. Sometimes he might use silence instead of words. You decline an invitation, and suddenly the energy changes. He takes longer to reply to your messages or seems a little colder when you next see him. This subtle withdrawal is its own form of persuasion, designed to make you feel guilty for holding your ground. If you find yourself questioning whether you were too firm or worrying that you upset him simply by stating what you need, that's a signal that the dynamic is off balance. Healthy relationships make space for both people's comfort without punishment. It's also telling when he frames your boundaries as temporary challenges, as if they're hurdles he just needs to be patient enough to clear. He might say, "I know you'll change your mind," or "You'll see, you'll want this soon." These comments can seem harmless, but they carry an assumption that your decisions aren't final, that your no is just a softer version of yes. That mindset reduces your autonomy to something negotiable, and it shows that he sees intimacy as a goal to win rather than a mutual choice. The impact of this kind of behavior goes beyond individual moments. Over time, it can wear down your confidence, making you second-guess your instincts. You might start to wonder if you're being too cautious, if maybe you should just give in to keep the peace. But the truth is, boundaries are not barriers to love. They are the framework that allows love to grow safely. Someone who truly cares will never make you feel like you have to earn his understanding or explain your limits again and again. He will respect them because he values you, not just the access you provide. Pay attention to how you feel after these interactions. Do you feel heard and supported, or drained and unsettled? Do you leave conversations with clarity or with the sense that you have to defend yourself? Your own feelings are the clearest evidence of what's happening. A partner who sees you as more than a body will honor your boundaries with the same care he shows for his own. He won't see them as hurdles, but as expressions of who you are. When someone consistently pressures, persuades, or sulks in response to your limits, it reveals a simple truth: he is more invested in fulfilling his desires than in building a relationship built on trust. Recognizing that pattern isn't about being demanding, it's about protecting your dignity. You deserve someone who hears a no, respects it the first time, and loves you for the person you are, not for what you might eventually give if he keeps pushing.